All right, we're live on video, Jess. Stand by. All right, good day and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Live the Fuel show. So this evening, I am recording with, yet another new co-host to bring to you, the listeners. And yeah, I have a feeling we're going to talk a lot about health, business, and lifestyle, especially, I'm guessing, a little bit about business because this guy knows a lot about media. The gentleman we're bringing you today, he's a speaker, a trainer, an author. He's also a C.S.P. That is a special designation, letters after his name that less than 1% of the professional speakers in the world have. We're going to talk about that because I'm new to speaking. To earn this designation, he had to provide documentation on more than 300 speeches and submit receipts for $250,000 worth of paid engagements as a speaker. So I just learned something new right here, right now. But 13 years as a TV producer with ABC, NBC, Fox, author of 4 books, including the Secret to Foolproof Presentations, and I'm a big presenter, so I love that. Guinness Record holder for being interviewed the most times in 24 hours. He's got a frame behind him, 112 different radio stations. Jess is a CSP, a special earned designation. That's what I love as standing out by this guy. I've never even heard of that before. So without further ado, welcome to the show, Jess Todtfeld.
Scott, it's good to be here. Oh man, we're going to have so much fun and give so much good information to everybody. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. And I love your brand, magneticspeaker.com. So there's your plug, ladies and gentlemen. Go check that out.
That's it. And yeah, I mean, everybody has something that makes them magnetic. I mean, I guess there are some people who are very boring, but there are people who love to know what's magnetic about them. But everybody has something that's magnetic. And that particular program is for people who say, you know what, I want to be a speaker. I want to learn the business of speaking. And then they come to one of the events, or they get a program where they learn about the business of speaking. But the big thing, separate from even the business, just for everybody who's tuning in right now, as I was saying to you, always open with fire. It's a Jess thing that I talk about, taken from David Ogilvy, big advertising guru.
Yes.
If you're selling fire extinguishers, open with fire. And I always say if you're speaking, you should open with fire too.
Okay.
We should always be magnetic. We should always figure out what would be amazing for the audience. How can we make their lives better? That's what we're going to do today. I just laid it down, Scott.
You definitely laid it down, man. And you're really already vibing with me and our audience because, I mean, the core of my logo, my brand is fire. So we're mind melding, man. I'm loving this.
I know. When I saw that, I said, we got to know each other after that. So the thing is, open with fire, open with something good. And, if I were to pick something just from the speaking world, it would be whether you're giving a speech or you're going to a job interview or a performance review. Anybody tuning in, you ever been in one of those or plan to be in one of those?
Once or twice?
Once or twice, yeah, a few times, especially with all the things that you've done over the years. Tell stories. Stories are the currency of life. Tell stories, have a message behind the story. But instead of listing, these are all the things that I did, share stories. I have a feeling we're going to share some stories today. But share stories because that's how people interact. It's more memorable. It's more magnetic.
Well, I think it humanizes you. I think so many people, I've been in the sales profession for a long time as well. And I'm constantly teaching and training people about storytelling because I'm like, guys, you're going right to the meat and the potatoes, so to speak, right? You're going right for the close. And you haven't built a relationship. They haven't really connected with you as a person. And if the person you're talking to or the audience you're talking to doesn't vibe with you, they're going to tune out any product, any service, anything you're trying to sell or market. I'm guessing you would agree with this.
Absolutely. I mean, people want to hear, so if we're talking about selling and sales, something that we connect on, we have businesses, it's really about talking about how you've helped other people. So instead of saying, I've done all this, that, and the other thing, as we had in my bio, all that stuff's great, but what have you actually done for people? So first you need to find out who somebody is, or say if it was a job interview, what do they want? And then you tell stories about things you've done that help people. And obviously, it really makes it come alive. Makes people see it, feel it, smell it.
So speaking about that, another one of your sites, right, is mediasecretsbook.com. So when you click on that, you got the auto launching video, and you're right in Times Square. And like tonight, you're doing that winter look. I like the scruff. It's got a sexy scruff rock in there, man.
This is the only video that I think I've done ever outside of just Facebook when I went camping with my 12-year-old.
But you see, but you're also dressed quite dapper, sir. So you got the sport coat, you got the little napkin right there. Very nice, sir. Pocket square, pocket square.
I like napkin better because it makes me feel like I can really just,
You can wipe the beard right off. So
yeah, that would be good. That's in the second half. Tune in. Stay tuned, everybody. So
he's going to do some magic.
I'm a forward TV producer. Yeah. So to put it all into perspective, because it's like, oh, what does this guy do exactly? He has so many things. This is the way I explain what I do. I create the space for people to show up. I happen to deliver programs on public speaking and presentations and media, and that's the area that I play. But it's show up in life, show up in business, show up.
Okay. So what do you find that is probably the biggest, how do I put this without being insulting? I'll use my own example. Years ago, when I didn't show up,
yes.
A lot of it, let's be real, is generalized around fear. And I think that's too broad of a statement for a lot of people, because I'm sure in your teachings and what you've experienced over the years is that everybody experiences fear of speaking differently. Let's go granular. You mentioned interviews, for example, right?
Yeah.
Interviews can be taken professionally. We could be talking about dating. We could talk about romance. I mean, everything is interacting, right? So what do you find is one of the most common things you've seen relating to fear and the whole connecting with the other person professionally or romantically?
So you're absolutely right. It comes down to fear. And fear of speaking, I don't even think it's really fear of speaking. It's a combination of a bunch of fears. It's fear of the unknown. We're not used something we're not used to doing. Just like the first day of a new job, you come in, you don't really know the ropes, you're a little nervous, your stomach is in knots, and then eventually you just figure it all out and you're like, this is fine, it's going to be fine, nobody's going to die today, hopefully. Unless you're in a profession where things get a little hairy. But anyway, so it's a few fears. So fear of the unknown, fear of being shunned in some way. They're going to send me into the woods to die. They're not going to do that.
So we call that rejection?
Fear of rejection. That's exactly right. Fear of embarrassment. So it's all these fears, but it does go back to fear of the unknown. And the more we figure out and the more, so when somebody comes to me and they say, oh, I want to be better at public speaking, or a lot of times it's business folks and there's something attached to it business-wise. I'll get to the part where it turns out it's fear. And the more I eliminate the unknown, the more they're like, all right, I got this. I know I'm great when the person's like, I got this. Let's do it. Get me back on camera. Let's do it. So, we got to step into that. And when things are uncomfortable, there's great stuff on the other side. And I try to remind myself that when I have the uncomfortable conversations or moments, I'm like, oh, I got to practice what I preach.
Well, and the funny thing that you're bringing up here is that we're talking about fear and worried about failure, right? But then if you talk to some of the world's best speakers like Tony Robbins and other people out there, they all tell us in different ways that you have to embrace the fear and be prepared to fail, because that's when the real learning begins. So it's like, for example, I mean, I've never been on a TV set. Well, no, I'm sorry. Let me correct myself. I have been on television. But those were charity events, and we were like cooking segments and stuff with a friend of mine. We would run a charity years ago. But it was like, that was scary for me. I'm like, oh, I'm going to go get in front of cameras. So I'm just going to be that guy standing behind her while she does all the cooking. And I'm just the friend helping out because we're here to raise money for cancer. But so I never really said anything.
And it was new. It was unknown.
Yeah, it's like, okay.
Cameras constantly.
And I will say, though, once you get on set, it's really not that big a deal. Like when you're on the other side of the TV screen, you think it's a big deal. Once you're actually in studio, it's like, really? This is all it is? I mean,
right. You're like, oh, they have lights of lights. It's like, I have lights where I am. They have cameras. Yeah, I've seen cameras before. We walk around with cameras on our phones constantly. We're looking at the cameras. We're doing it now. Right. And then that wears off. Same thing giving a speech or being on a big stage.
Oh, yeah.
Like initially, it's like, oh, my gosh, I'm 2 feet taller than everybody else. Right? It's like, I'm not here. I'm here.
Yeah.
Oh, now it's scary. But if here, I wouldn't be scared. Right. And
it's interesting.
In just a little while, then people realize, okay, it's not that bad. And the sweet spot is the more you help other people and you focus in this direction, you're not worrying in this direction.
Actually, great tip on that, actually, because I did three speaking events this year that I never did that many in one year before. So just, that was a new thing. And clearly I have a podcast. I've been in sales. I don't have a problem talking to people.
Right.
My fiance says sometimes I talk too much. So, but
it's part of the business. Honey.
I was like, hey, you better embrace this. Okay. This is working.
Right.
But the speaking was exciting this year because that's exactly what I did. I listened to some of my coaches or my influencers, and they said, dude, just remember, man, don't worry about you. Worry about them. Make the message about them. And even if you are telling a story about maybe what you've done, like one of my speeches was involving like my leaving corporate, becoming a wildland firefighter out west, and then coming back again, like just showing people that it's important to embrace scary, dangerous things sometimes because it could change your life. Like talking about stuff like that. So yeah, it was about me, but it was really, I changed how I was presenting it and really made sure I was trying to explain to them why, because it was actually called Embracing Change. That was the main headline of that speech, was they got to embrace, it was embracing change for lifestyle success. That was the name of that, because I'm passionate, obviously, with this podcast about talking about lifestyle. And most people are paralyzed by either analysis or paralysis by analysis or fear or rejection. And that's what we're talking about right now, man, is that the sooner you start putting in the reps and getting over that, just like going to the gym, man, you got to start going.
Right.
And eventually it gets easier.
Right. And there's this whole compounding thing that happens, which is you do something and you're like, I kind of figured out a little something and I'll add this to it, and I'll add that to it, and I'll add that to it. Yeah. But I'll tell you something that really pains me when it comes to this stuff that you're talking about, which is, so I last month was in Florida and I delivered this big event, magnetic speaker, and teaching people how to figure out the business of speaking.
Nice.
I know that there are a lot of people who will, and this, hurts me. They will write everything down. They'll nod, they'll listen, they won't do a thing. And some of it is fear. Some of it is fear of rejection, or what if I have to pick up the phone or ask somebody? Some of it is putting limiting steps in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll do it, but I need a good website, and then I have to get an email list, and I have to get this other thing, and I have to, get all my marketing materials into one sheet. It's like, just get out in front of people.
Yeah.
But it pains me when people don't take. I mean, believe me, I've not taken steps too, but obviously I haven't started my own business.
Yeah.
Created my own lifestyle and job. But it pains me when I see and I know that only a smaller percentage will actually go do something. And I try everything I can with continuity programs that are just built in and other stuff to really facilitate people taking next steps. But it really is, it's fear.
I see the same thing. I actually have said the same thing to, actually recently I was talking to a couple of people that were looking to start podcasts, right? I mean, it's public speaking. You're technically putting yourself in front of people. It's a little safer for a lot of people because you're not visual. Whereas today, right, we're recording video for YouTube at the same time. So we're, hey guys, we care about YouTube too. And because it's like people need to embrace people visually, but as well as auditory and obviously and kinesthetically, right? That's why you go to events. I can't tell you, whether it be my nutrition business or my marketing business, like when you start going to events, all your influencers tell you this. The more you go to events,
yes,
the more it gets easier. You'll soak up a lot in one day. Yeah, you'll probably forget half of it. You might have written down notes like you said. But the most important thing you could do is start taking some kind of action from whatever you just did because you invested at that event. And then the next time you go, you'll learn, oh, you know what? Let me do something a little bit differently this time and that time. And like you just hinted earlier, we're building some accumulation and it gets easier and easier and easier. And you're building steam. It's like an old steam-powered locomotive. And then eventually you could pull 100 train cars, right? Because you're all just fired up and you're full steam ahead. So
and we just have to decide, or at least keep ourselves accountable, know when we're not showing up, when we're not taking action, when we're like, I think I'm going to try that this year. And, and sometimes we don't. And just even to ask ourselves, why is this happening? Do I want it bad enough? Maybe people don't want it bad enough.
Great point. A lot of people don't want it bad enough.
Right. I had a job. So I was a TV producer, you mentioned, for 13 years.
Yeah.
And it was great and exciting. It was better for younger people because once you I got married and started a family, they were like, get back in, there's breaking news and there's this thing. And I always wanted to start my own business anyway. And, I wanted it badly to start my own business, to create, the whole lifestyle design thing is important to me. So create something where I had control over, what I want to do. If I want to carve out a period of time where I can be with my family and my kids. I have 2 kids, and the 12-year-old is still at the age where he wants to play with me. I have
awesome.
So
still rewarding.
it's awesome. It's the best. And
I'm loving that you're pausing on this, by the way, because I was actually going to ask you to pause on this lifestyle design piece, and you already are. So this is important. I think this is a valuable piece that our listeners, guys, if you're not listening or watching tune in on this, because he's giving you some powerful nuggets of knowledge.
When we get back from the break. That's where I'm going to just put in my own advertising in Scott's podcast.
Nice.
Like, why is he somehow making even more? Anyway.
Smart marketing.
See? That's what we got to do. So, the lifestyle is a big piece. Do we want to, I'm thinking about, what was that book? The E-Myth Factor. Michael Gerber.
E-Myth Revisited. Or actually, was the original book called The E-Myth Factor?
I think it was the E-Myth, and then it was E-Myth Revisited. I think
it's in the library right behind me.
I'm peeking up there because it's somewhere up on my bookshelf.
Yeah.
You have a shelf for the people who are only listening on audio. He has a little miniature shelf on the wall.
That's all I could fit there. There's no one in the other room. And then I moved over to Audible in the past, aggressively the past 2-3 years. So I tell people all the time now, if this is for you too, please, could you please get an Audible done? Because I crush books. Because I travel so much, I'm crushing books and podcasts on Audible. I don't listen to the FM radio anymore. I'm sponging up knowledge, man. So it's hard for me to physically sit down and read.
You got to do it. You know what? I sometimes buy the same book in 3 different formats because it depends what works best. Because I may be in a period of my life where I'm traveling around a lot and I want that audio.
Yeah.
Then to say, I want to mark this thing up and I want to hold it. But
I've done that. If someone already gave me a little bit of a tip saying, hey man, this is a good book, you're probably going to be running a highlighter through it. Then I'll buy Audible and the physical, and then I'll do the same thing. I'll buy multiple media, which, hey, for the author, great for you guys.
It's great, right? Great for the author, but I have some that I've bought in 3 formats, and I told somebody, I was like, apparently maybe I'm over buying some stuff. Yeah. But anyway, Michael Gerber, people who didn't read that, the E-Myth, he talked about, this is called how I kept track of, from the tangent back to where we are. He talked about, in the book, about how this woman was great at making, I think it was cupcakes.
Yes, the baker. Yes.
Yeah, you should have a cupcake business.
Yeah. It wasn't her grandmother's recipe or something like that she grew up with. Probably. And they tasted amazing. Yeah.
And, everyone's had those things like, you should do this.
Yeah. You're amazing.
Yes. We saw you mowing your lawn one time. You should be mowing lawns professionally. No, I shouldn't. I probably shouldn't even be mowing my lawn. I haven't been mowing my lawn. But anyway, so she does it, and she realizes she's got to be up at 5 a.m. She's got to be home at midnight, and that she's got to have payroll and employees and the flour.
To our listeners, he's hinting the reason why it's E-Myth Revisited is they're talking about entrepreneurship. The myth of that entrepreneurship is supposedly amazing and easy.
Yes, right. And it's not for everybody, but you know what? There's plenty of things people can do on the side. Robert Kiyosaki, that was one of the early books that I, Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Oh yeah, that's in the library and digitally. I got him in multiple media forms too.
I actually met him. I told him, so he says, start a business on the side, keep your day job, start on the side, and you'll learn if you're good at it.
The side hustle. Very common.
Now it has a name.
Yeah.
Now we have a name for it. But I worked in TV where I knew there was something bigger waiting for me. I did something on the side, which was all this, starting a training and speaking consulting business. And then on my last day, I had read his book, but he came and showed up and for an interview. And I told him that because of him, I'm not going to be working here anymore. So he got nervous. It was like, did I get some guy fired? I was like, no.
That's great.
Awesome. And now I'm doing my own thing. And he was like, awesome. So it was very cool.
That's pretty cool. You actually got to meet him. By the way, quick side note on, I don't know how, my microphone's usually pretty good, but I'm hoping you can actually hear my coonhound in the other room, because every once in a while you might hear a very hinting bark, because he likes to bark during my podcasts. And,
I was going to claim that it was my 12-year-old.
Oh, there we go. So wait, you're does he get bored and bark like a dog?
Yeah, only during other people's podcasts.
Anyway,
daddy stuff.
I love to be transparent, because again, we're talking about lifestyle design. Like, I have a friend of mine, he's got a very nice offices 5 minutes from my house. And he's like, hey, I'll give you your own office, man, if you ever need the professional space. I'm like, no, like, this is what I'm trying to show, that we can do these things in the comfort of our own home. I mean, you're at your house, I'm at my house, and we're building new content and new education that will be out all over online. Like,
that's right.
Why do we need an office?
For people who are watching the visual, or people who aren't, I'll explain it. My home office, I have a home office. I have space that I actually rent in New York City, because I do trainings there, but I only go in when I'm meeting people.
Makes sense.
For training, or or to have a meeting. But I don't want to be there. I want to be at home base. So I have a setup. I like to call this a genuine fake backdrop of New York City.
Okay, by the way, I was going to say something about that. I love it, because I used to go to the city in the late 90s, and a buddy of mine had not something exactly like that, but similar. Like, he did the whole fake window thing. Like, you got a view of the city. I love that.
And yeah, so I have that. I'm not afraid to be authentic and tell people that that's not real.
Yeah.
And they're like, because they're like, oh, the whole setup looks really good. And then I tell them. My wife hates that. She always says, stop telling everybody. And and I have a camera with a teleprompter behind me, and articles that I've been in, and things like that. But you can create, for everyone who's listening or tuning in, I mean, you can not only create a space that feels great to work in, and of course people are more accepting of you working from home, but you can also, if you're going to do on-camera stuff or podcasts, or I always say be the media, if you're going to do it, which you really should if you're running your own business, then you can just put up some backdrops and try to make it interesting looking.
Well, and like, before we started the show off today, I was joking around about how I bought my first ever full-blown green screen kit for filming for a client. And we did a bunch of video shoots before the holidays, and I have an editor working on them now to remove the green and put something into place. But to be fair, I could literally do that here. I could put a green screen behind me, and Zoom does have the webinar functionality that I can enable green screen, and I can have whatever the hell I want behind me. And I thought about doing that for the home studio, but I was like, nah, I kind of like the honesty and the transparency, like you've done. And I'm actually currently looking. I have a couple of I'm a huge ski nut, mountain biker, outdoors guy, and I'm looking at getting one of my higher end quality photos done, where you can get these like 3 big canvas prints.
Yes.
And I thought about getting that across that back wall there and just moving that stuff somewhere else, or in and around here, because to your point, right? When you could turn around, and it's like, you don't need to be in the city to be in the city, right? So I want to be able to, be in the mountains without being in the mountains, so to speak. So that's part of my fire.
Put that stuff behind you. If I shot in the other direction, and I would have turned it, but Scott knows I broke one of my TV lights right before we went on.
More honesty and transparency, love it.
I went to plug it in, and then I pulled the whole thing, and it fell. It's just a bunch of light bulbs. Life will go on. But in that direction is where my desk is. So sometimes I shoot where I'm sitting with the desk behind me.
Oh, so nice.
Pictures of family and others, and little video cameras. So it's, something that I stand for, or, that it's part of my life.
That's wonderful. See, again, it's what you want to give off, right?
Exactly. And I'm a bigger fan. I mean, actually in the other direction, I have a big curtain that's not pulled all the way right now, but it's another backdrop of New York City. I don't really even use it anymore, because I think people want to look behind and see what's behind you. I love the idea of those canvas photos, and as time goes on, they're so inexpensive, you could keep changing them or kind of moving them around.
Oh, I had a friend of mine. She's her book is now becoming like an Amazon bestseller in a certain category of cookbooks, because she created. We're big passion about like sugar-free, grain-free living. And she launched a book last year, and I've had her on twice. And we were joking around the other night, recording an episode that I aired for her right before Christmas. And she's like, oh, I'm stealing all your ideas off your dry erase board. I'm like, well, I don't know if they're really ideas. I was like, this thing gets wiped and reset every single week. This is my mind dump exercise. I dump everything. And then if it's not done by the end of the week, I move it into a different tracking system. I use Trello for project management. And anyway, then the funny thing was, if I didn't have that there and I didn't say that and she didn't ask about it, then we end up getting into a whole conversation about Trello. And now she and I are going to be scheduling a training to help me show her how I use Trello to improve my business and my clients' businesses. So it's like, okay, if I had a green screen, that conversation probably never would have came up.
Never would have happened. And while it's fun to have the toys, and I'm sure you're going to use your green screen and make some sort of videos with it and feel like you got it for some sort of reason, or use it with clients, it'll always be the combination of the two and the real world stuff. I love that. And I love hearing about, I'm glad you brought up Trello, how you use your whiteboard, because I'm always interested in hearing how other people's systems are, what people use for their systems. And yeah, I've used Trello. One time I used it as my CRM.
Yep.
And I've changed over time. And so a big strategy is to use the CRM for people who need
my big client, she's a sales and marketing representation firm for manufacturers.
Yeah.
So she's hardcore, heavily invested into Salesforce. Salesforce is one of the biggest CRMs out there.
Yes.
And so now we're doing a lot more visual stuff. We're building out social media, her brand, her website, stuff like that. And I told her, I'm like, listen, I love your Salesforce system for like sales and stuff like that. But going forward, any marketing projects, I'm building you your own board in my Trello system. And here's the app, and here you can get access to it. And she's like, yes, but everything needs to happen in Salesforce. I'm like, yes. In your normal sales and marketing world, yes, I completely agree with you.
Right.
But when you're dealing with design, and I could just easily show you visually where you're at in the timeline that I've built for you visually. I can't do that in Salesforce. I don't like that. And I needed to do it. This is my way.
Right.
So we got multiple CRMs going on, depending on what we're talking about.
And right, at a certain point that we have to always reevaluate.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. You're getting a kick out of this, but nowadays you got Slack and Trello and all these, and they all integrate and can sync together. And at one time I tried integrating Slack, and I'm like, no, too many things. I just want one thing. I just want one.
Well, that sounds like an ad for Infusionsoft, because
there you go.
Things together.
And you got to pay for it, but it's a high-end tool.
And it's come down in price, but I already have 15 other things. So
wait, so are you saying that if you just close down the 15 other things, the money generated back from that could maybe pay for Infusionsoft?
No, it'll slow me down for a year, because everything will be halfway, and then but I partner with people who use Infusionsoft, and we use it together for certain projects. And then we have the person on it who's the Infusionsoft genius.
Yep.
Who can sit all over it. But I have just if we're in this section now, we're talking about systems and things we use.
Hey, it's a part of lifestyle design. So
it is, because you gotta systematize people.
Yeah.
You gotta do that. So Clickfunnels, love. Yes. So you can easily build web pages. You can build online training.
Now, hold on a second. Wait a minute.
Yes.
I'm going to use some of my technology here to share a site that you're using Clickfunnels on. This is Clickfunnels, right?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So again, listeners,
you're absolutely right.
He's got a site set up, and I'm sharing it right now in the video to help you guys understand that he's got a great book out there, and he wants you to get it. And he's got some extra bonuses and trainings and everything else. But then when you go through this, you'll eventually end up on, Amazon to get the book too. And obviously, here's Media Secrets, a media training crash course. There's his book available on Kindle and in paperback, and maybe one day Audible. I don't know. So
I have to sit down and record it.
And you got the nice microphone.
I have the nice microphone now.
Yours is shinier than mine.
It was actually an Amazon special a week ago, and I looked at it with my wife. I was like, I've never seen it for that price. I have to get it. And I have other microphones that are totally fine. But
I would hope so. I mean, you're former producer. You got connections and all that stuff, right? I mean,
I don't know about connections for paying less, but connections with people like you who are like, oh, I really like this piece of equipment. So I have lots of equipment, but why not buy more? But back to ClickFunnels.
Yes, ClickFunnels.
So great. So you could take a video like you see on the page there,
Yep.
and buttons saying, hey, do this or do this. There's a countdown on that particular one. But I've used it where I have a client where I do coaching for a big franchise, and I teach them about media marketing, and I do a broadcast to them. I always call it a broadcast. I prefer Zoom, but I think we use GoToWebinar or something like that because they're all used to it.
There's so many now. I mean, our boy Henry, he was using Blue Jeans. I didn't even know that was an app. I mean, okay, I'm on Blue Jeans.
Henry Kaminsky, the brand.
Shout out, Henry.
The shout out. That's right. Yeah, I saw you guys together on something else today, and I said, hey, look, it's Worlds Colliding.
That was us recording for his podcast that'll be airing in the next couple of days. So we recorded live, and he did the whole live Facebook stream at the same time. So
yes,
I'm still not doing that. That freaks some people out once in a while. So right now, like tonight, like we're recording this, and then you'll air in a couple of weeks, and it'll get blasted out everywhere. So
there's an exhilaration in live. In fact, everybody, we're totally live right now.
Embrace your fears.
That's right. Tell us that, hey, Bob, welcome, Bob. Hey, Tammy, good to see you. I'm just pretending that's right.
Everybody's like staring at the bottom of the screen trying to read the comments. Right. Like, oh, yeah. And hi, Jessica. Yeah. So it makes for great video.
We're going to go to lunch next week. Let's talk about it here. While everybody else's time is valuable.
And Jessica's going to need to learn about ClickFunnels, though. So let's be real. I mean, this is how fun these podcasts go. We get off on some crazy tangents, but a lot of people are like, what the hell is a ClickFunnel? And why should I care?
So think of it this way, for everybody who doesn't know, and they're like, what is this thing? So basically, a sales funnel is you start somewhere at the top, and then a little bit less people move to the next step, and a little bit less the next step, and eventually at the bottom are the people who make a buying decision. That's the idea of a funnel.
You're giving them you're also really guiding them through where they should be going to, because maybe they're a yes or a no. Well, that no will take them to a different part of your process.
Absolutely. And normally when we build any kind of set of web pages, we may not think that way. We may just say, this is what it is, and here's an about us page and a contact, and I guess I'm done. And unless we're building a sales page, we're like, this is salesy, we have to do it in a special way. But really, we're always guiding people, like you just said, through some sort of a process. So it's designed to tell us, this is where you're starting, here's the next place you can go, and then if you like that, then go over here. And it just makes it super easy to get web pages up, and has some other cool, real cool tools. I built learning products in there. So now I built enough stuff in there that I can never turn it off. So,
and let's be real. I mean, yours is very clean, by the way. I did click on everything before the show today just to play around with it, because I always like to. I don't have ClickFunnels embedded in any of my sites yet, but I'm aware of it. I know of it. I study it. I'm a marketing guy. I got to understand all the different domains. Yeah. And it's interesting because I have a good friend of mine. He's a huge podcaster, and he literally guest stars on Adam Carolla's show, and his is viral right now. So
give him a shout out.
Yeah, well, yeah, shout out to VinnyTortorich.com. But Vinny, I just aired Vinny actually again on the show on Monday. So he's, I think, coming back from Europe right now. But he now has like a vitamin company and a coffee company, and he's a huge health and fitness. He's a trainer to the stars out in LA. And but he's old school. So he's like, dude, I hate funnels. So, I mean, all of his sites, all of his brands, you're not going to find any funneling on it. So how do you address that? Do you feel like, does ClickFunnels tell you, hey man, there's a certain percentage of people that just aren't going to like that on your site? I mean, do they talk about that at all? You possibly turning people off instantaneously? Is that a thing? I don't know.
I don't push stuff on people, so I'm probably not using it to its fullest, meaning that I'm paying for lots and lots of traffic. Like the way it's sold is the Russell Brunson, who created it, says he once sold vitamins. So you're getting all that, you're paying for traffic and you're pushing them to the top of the funnel, and then people who are targeted the right way a certain percentage like this, and if you give them 3 bottles instead of 1, it's just not my kind of business. So
Right.
For me, I try to put out great content, and I try to help people. One of my things is give to give, which is instead of give and you shall receive, which is a very nice thing. It's from some book. I think
It's been around a long time. That slogan's been out there for a while. I can't.
It
think.
has.
Yeah.
That Bible thing was an Amazon. But anyway, so instead of give to give, which is and give and you shall receive, which is great. Give to give is give to people. Give them stuff. I'm not always forcing them into some sort of
Expect nothing in return.
That's it.
Yeah.
And I plant lots and lots of seeds all around. And the good news is lots of great stuff still does happen. And but I've let go of it. I'm not worried about it. Obviously, sometimes I'm doing something expecting a certain result.
Well, especially if you're going to launch. Like, when did you launch that book?
So it was last year for that book. And although, I mean, I'm trying not to date this to say exactly when, but you get the idea.
Yeah, but the point is, like, especially when you're in a big launch period or you're doing a relaunch, relaunches happen all the time. Like, you're going to have a spike of effort and push. So
and I have an amazing book guy who does stuff with me, who I think you know, Trevor Crane. You know him?
I know the name.
Yes, and so we did we had a Kindle launch. No, we had a pre-launch. So we did all this stuff in pre-launch and pre-sold and all this stuff. Then we had a Kindle launch and all this excitement and stuff. Then we had a physical launch. And then even though we're a little over a year later, we're going to do a podcast launch. We're going to do at some point, we're going to do a free launch, which is just a free plus shipping campaign at some point. I just have to.
So basically, you're just rewrapping it in a different package.
Yes.
Because everybody's drawn to different styles of packaging. So
and that makes sense. It's other ways to excite people.
Yeah.
You know, some people are like, oh, this is exciting. Look at the timing. Oh, now I need this thing. You know, it's all, or back to what you were saying where you're asking about Clickfunnels. You know, you said you have that other friend who says, I don't use funnels.
Yeah, he's anti-funnel, yeah.
I think it's just about, you know, come up with systems that work. You know, people have to get to know me. I definitely could be better with, that's one of my new things this year, which is to put people in some sort of consistent email list. There are people who know me on social media, people who know me from books, people who know me from live events, but just—
That is huge. That's huge. You have to, because like Facebook could crash and burn tomorrow, doubtful, but their algorithm changes and Twitter changes and Instagram changes. Like I always tell everybody, when branding 101, you gotta have a site because that's your site, and you gotta control your email list, because if you can get everybody in one place, then they can still follow you in all the other channels. But then once they're on your email list, now you have full control.
Now, this is coming from a guy who has 40,000 people on various email lists, but I just plan to talk to them more this year. That's my plan.
That's actually my goal too. I'm with you, brother. Okay, don't feel alone.
Okay, there are people there. They're
I have people.
Nice people.
I got people.
They're very nice people, because when they pop up, they say nice things. I should be nice back and just talk. And I'm just saying, I'm being real in this, which is, there are a lot of things I do well, and I don't know if it came up earlier, but it did come up earlier. But I set a Guinness Record.
Yeah, man.
Interview the most times, and you're adding to that. That interview, that was from a few years back, and it was.
But that was in a 24-hour period, right?
Yes. So in 24 hours, it was 112 different radio stations. Had to be 5 minutes long or longer. I've done pretty much every major TV network in the U.S. and a bunch of international, somewhere between 50 and 100 newspapers. That's the New York Times back there. And with that, I'm still going to be authentic and say, I'm not perfect at everything. I need to be, there's talking plenty to the media. And the last 2 years, I really spent more time with people like you, people who have podcasts that I think are really interesting and are helping people and have a similar message. I'm just not, I'm not, we all have limited time.
Well, like you said, the whole give to give thing, right? It's like, okay. Yeah. Am I a multi-millionaire right now? No. I mean, I guess you can care about that if money is your primary thing. But I've had many mentors over the years teach me, like, listen, Scott, like if you're doing things right by people and you're putting other people first, and you're also taking yourself seriously and you're billing yourself out at the right, rate too. That's always a good lesson, ladies and gentlemen. Bill yourself out at the right rate. Then the money will come. So don't chase the money. When you start chasing the money is when people start making mistakes. And that's something that Henry and I were really geeking out about, man. It's like he had a great story on that too.
I can't wait to tune in and hear the interview that you guys did together. I think about that sometimes. I mean, I think a lot of us were told when we were growing up, do what you love and the money will come. And it's partly true, but there are 25 other pieces to that.
You still got to hustle and get your job done.
You got to hustle, you got to get your job done. You got to show up. You got to learn stuff. You got to fail. You got to do all these things. So it's, back to the woman who made cupcakes, who was like, I don't want to work for 20 hours a day and be mopping the floor. I wanted to make cupcakes for people. Yeah. These are all questions to ask, and also to ask when we create a business. We're bringing it full circle with lifestyle design, which is what lifestyle am I really creating? I mean, I've had iterations of the business that I'm running now where I was just working and running all over the place. And my wife said, is this really what you were hoping to do and create? And I was like, not this part, not, killing myself. And then there are some moments where I am killing myself, like when we were launching that book, and it was, the couple of months leading up to it. It was terribly exciting. It was exhilarating. I was like staying up all night and getting promotions and videos and continuity videos. Every chapter has a video and all this stuff. And
it was a lot of work.
It was a lot of work. And I did again on the speaking side with this magnetic speaker. And there was a lot. We created a 10-hour online video course. And I always say to people, somebody offered, they said, do you want to be part of this project? And I said, it sounds like a lot of fun. This is a day ago. I said, but anytime, one of the lessons of time management is anytime you add something in, you have to subtract something else.
There's only so much time in the day.
Yeah, I said, I know sometimes we decide we subtract sleep or time with our families. Your fiance, you're going to decide one day, do I want to see her face later? Yeah. Or should I be running in this other direction? Thankfully, my wife has somebody said, do you mind that Jess is flying to other cities and doing some of these other things? So it's really not, because I have a home office, it's really not very disruptive.
Sure.
But she actually says to people, no, I love it. They're like, really? You love it? Do you hate his company? She goes, no, it's usually attached to, revenue.
It's funny. We've casually joked around about that too. And I was like, when I'm gone on business trips, like my one client, I'll be gone for sometimes 2-3 days out of the week. And I was like, so are you cool with that? And she's like, oh yeah. She's like, I get the place to myself. I mean, but I think it's also important that you have to miss each other, I think, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're already married. I'm new to this. I'm not, I'm okay. I just turned 40 in September, and we just got engaged in August. And this is my first serious relationship in my life. I was the bachelor forever. So
you are, yeah. And this is good. This is the personal section, everybody.
Oh yeah. There we go.
This is the personal section. So I'm 46.
Okay.
I married my high school sweetheart.
Oh, you are old school. Wow.
Old school. We have been together 27 years, married for 18, happy for 3. She likes it when I say that, because you got to have a punchline. But no, we're very happy, and we have 2 kids. And yeah, I mean, you figure stuff out along the way, and there are sometimes when things totally made sense and worked. I mean, I'm talking about like the business stuff and how we're going to do it. Before I had a whole setup like I do, which is one room in the house, and I have little on-air lights that flash, and people and the kids just know that, okay, I'm supposed to be doing something. But I have a 17-year-old who even right before we started turned up, whatever hip
The
hop
music.
Yeah, and I was like, dude, I just told you. And he's like, but it's not during business hours. And I was like, yeah, because it's lifestyle design is what I do. And he's like, what? I didn't say that.
It's like, just give me an hour, man. Just give me an hour, bro.
Give me a little time. And he's like, I don't know. But actually, one of his friends said he comes back. He's in high school, and he comes back at lunchtime. So he and his friend came in, and I have a very cool wraparound desk. I have all these screens going,
yeah,
I have music playing through speakers. I have my legs up, and I was still wearing these. I don't know what you call them, but they were basically not sweatpants, but they were pajama type things, whatever.
Oh, okay. All right.
They're like.
Hey, I got Lululemon pants. They technically are fancy. They're men's fancy sweatpants, but I mean.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with fancy sweatpants.
There you go.
Come on, that's
you're a classic. You got the pocket square. You're fancy. Come on.
They were fancy, right? They were not with the rips in them that had been there since the day that. Right? No, they were something cool. Anyway, so the other kid says, "Damn, this is what I want to do what your dad does for a living." He hangs out, and he's still in his pajamas. And I was like, and I had just been on an awesome sales call, and I was talking to somebody. I was like, if I come to your company, oh man, here's the possibilities of what we can do. And they were like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So
you just got done finishing a huge rah-rah pitch in your fancy pajamas.
Right. And then I was right. It's 1 in the afternoon. I'm like, maybe I should change. So
I mean, there's some people who say by lifestyle design that, hey, you should still dress up in the morning, even if you are working from home. I will agree to that to a certain extent. I think it comes down to who you are and where you're at in that timeline. When I first started working from home for companies years ago and dabbling in that, I sucked at it. I think I told Henry this. I sucked at it. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go do a little laundry. Oh, I'm gonna go make a smoothie. And I was like, oh, as long as I got the headphones in, I'm good, right? I was not productive at all. So I needed to go back to the office a lot.
And some of it, like you said, I've done that too along the way, where I said I gotta dress like I'm going to work and make sure that I have a routine. And I'm, starting at this exact time and all this stuff. And I don't know, I think over time I got good at creating enough routines that, not dressing up that day is no big deal. The flip side of that is because I've been doing the last couple of years much more on-camera stuff from the home studio, as I call it. Mm-hmm. And I have these clients where I do video broadcasts and it's group coaching sessions and all that. I will sometimes start the day. One day I'm dressed up and I'm all suited up, and my wife's like, "Whoa!" And the next day, my hair is still sticking up on one side, and she's like, "Bad day to quit sniffing glue," which is a line from Airplane.
Classic.
I'm like, what? She's like,
but our millennial audience will have no clue what you're talking about.
I know. It's pretty bad. I'm gonna. You know what? I think this might be the last day I can use that. I got to retire it.
Really?
Yeah, because the millennials are becoming the decision makers.
That's true.
Companies.
That's true.
So, I can't be like the guy that's like, like that Bee Gees song. I can't.
We should at least keep it in.
Campbell really said that first.
We should at least really hardcore keep it in our generation or younger. I mean,
yes.
You're not in the, there is a lot of millennial CEOs nowadays, thanks to some powerful startup companies.
I'm going to never stop, like Justin Bieber.
Oh my God. I can't believe you went there.
I went there.
I actually, while we're busting on each other, I love your success in media site, because actually I clicked on your services section. By the way, don't just wing it, leverage it. Nice tagline. Just want to give you some props there. So, who came up with that one? Was that you, or
thank you very much.
Was that your marketing guy?
Somebody, and it's funny, our branding guy, Henry Kaminsky, who we just shouted out a few times, he's totally redoing all of it. And that was off of stuff that I've said and videos. I have hundreds of videos on YouTube that are instructional about.
So you were just saying it and you didn't realize you had a slogan there.
Well, yeah, the person who had put this together for me said, I'm working from some stuff and I have a tagline for you. So I figured, all right, let's see what this tagline is. So I left it there, and we'll see if it stays for the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, if you scroll up to that video, just for people just to see my face, you're seeing a different view.
That's a different view. Yeah.
Yes. This is the only
How old is this one?
thing that I've ever done, I think, with facial hair, which is only going to last, I think, another week anyway. But
it's 20 degrees. I mean, so it's cold enough to justify it.
Well, now that you said that, I didn't want to date this. So actually, you know what? If this is summertime, then it's 20 degrees Celsius, everybody.
There we go. And to be fair, I rock a nice stylish scruff and beard year round. It's like I'll shave, and then like once it hits like Thursday, Friday, I'll just stop and let it go all weekend. And then
let it keep going.
Clean slate Sunday night, and then you're good for the week. That's how I've been rolling lately. Anyway, that's been my new little lifestyle design piece on that. So
I let it go until it upsets everybody in my house.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Well,
That's right.
Before I met my fiance, when I took that 2-year stint and venture doing Wild and Fire, I grew out a big mountain man beard because you're hiking in the woods, dude, wielding chainsaws, fighting wildfires, and I don't have to shave. And sometimes you're gone for weeks on end. I'm like, I'm not going to shave. So I showed her photos of that, and she's just like, no, you are not allowed to bring that back.
Like that is a terrible look. That and that old chair that you had before you guys got engaged, get rid of both of them.
Well, to be fair, hold on. I never had an ugly chair. I have some style.
I had a lazy boy chair. My wife said, please. And it was just, it had some like beer stain. This is like in college. She was like, listen, I love you. I don't love this chair. Please tell me when we move in together that chair's not coming. And it came anyway. Because
you had the classic man chair. Okay.
I had a man chair, and then for a little while I was there. She was just kind of like, ugh. And then we upgraded not too long after.
I got something for you. In case you didn't see everything on the site, that's me on the left.
Hashtag man chair, everybody.
Yeah, hashtag man chair, hashtag man beard. But yeah, that's
hashtag man beard, hashtag man chair.
Yeah, that was me on the left, the bigger guy. So I was all bearded out and mountain manish, and that was taken in 2010. So that's only 8 years ago now. So
while we look at that, Scott, just to bring in, and it's semi-dated, but there's always fires out west.
Yes, this is a bad year.
Yeah, it's a cycle that happens. What goes through your head when you see in the news? We're in the news right now. All these fires that are catching. You experienced, all this stuff from a different perspective.
I think of my brothers that still do this because it's funny. People are like, why did you go do that? And by the way, I'm tired of people telling me there needs to be a book in the works. So if that's a new project, that needs to start this year. So yes, I'm putting it out there now to the audience that I have to man up and figure out how to write a book.
We're gonna, in the next 5 minutes, I'm gonna give you a system for that.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway, so to answer your question, I have guys I fought with that still do it. Like these guys are career guys. Like I only did it for 2 years, and I got to serve on one of the elite. They're called hot shots, the elite hot shot crews. You're either a smoke jumper or you're a hot shot at the upper level. And I can thank my business world experience of being a good interviewer, good salesman, and also just being a fitness nut because I was considered the old guy because I did it in my early 30s. And most people are like, military style. You're doing it like 17 to 24, 25. So actually, I will tell you the most important thing that really impacts me this year is there was a lot of major fires in California. The wine country got its butt kicked. Areas along LA, like you just see stuff all over Facebook Live, mountainsides on fire. And I tell people like fire is natural. The only thing that makes it extreme and crazy is when people decide to build their house remote and they push it into the urban landscape, out of the urban landscape and into the wildland landscape. As you're basically increasing your potential of risk the further you dig deeper into the wildlands. So when I was in the Fire Academy, they actually taught us about, it was a whole new program they had to launch called WUI, which is an acronym, WUI, which is Wildland Urban Interface. Yeah. We had to start learning how to fight wildfires alongside of city firefighters because we don't deal with the buildings. We dealt with the wildlands. So it was just crazy. It just makes me think back to what I learned. But then 2013, it was all, I don't know if you follow this because don't know, it's got to be a niche thing, but an entire hotshot crew was burned over in Prescott, Arizona, and they were known as the Granite Mountain Hotshots. And I served alongside of them. I knew 17 of their faces. 19 died. One was left alive because he was in a lookout position. So to answer your question, not bring the show down, but just to show that it's like, dude, that's what I think of now, because that could have been me. And I think about the men and the women that are still serving and hoping that they stay on top of it. And unfortunately, there has been loss of life this year. It's inevitable. It's literally listed as one of the most dangerous jobs on the planet. I found out after I did it.
Right.
One of my good friends was happy to rub that in. He's like, thank God you stopped. I'm like, why? He's like, did you know that serving as a hot shot is one of the most, like, literally, he's like, I looked it up. You're like the top 3 most dangerous jobs in the world. And I was like, I didn't know that. But thank you for letting me know.
Right. Well, I think we're all grateful, just like other people who serve, for the folks who do that so that they can keep others safe.
It was a great experience because
gratitude.
I appreciate that. And I thank people. I'm like, listen, I only did it for 2 years, but it's a life-changing experience. And it helps you reflect on like, what the hell am I doing with my life? Right? Like if I'm not happy in a cubicle in the corporate world, change it. I mean, I'm not saying I got to quit your job tomorrow, but like we're bringing this full circle right now here, man. Bringing fuel back to the fire. You hinted at it. You gave the tip. You said, wait a minute, I know a crap load more about something and I can give back. I can help people become better speakers, better trainers, better in just understanding the media world because you spent a long time there. So what if, there's the what if. What if I started a side hustle and then I can start helping people and maybe it doesn't work out, or people start giving you rave reviews, you're making more money, and all of a sudden you start replacing the primary income, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, I accidentally stumbled across something here. Not to sum up your entire, career-changing story, but that's what I got out of it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, except that I knew there wasn't a future for me in television. A bunch of things have come back and come full circle, which is as a total separate thing, I've gotten hosting gigs that I've done, and I do more I do a lot of on-camera stuff, and I did on-camera stuff early on in my TV career, even though I was behind the scenes. And I love that stuff. But look at where we live now in the 2000s. I'm trying not to date this. That we can have all this great equipment that we talked about. Someone's dinging us. I think it's on my side.
That's on your side.
And I'll be there in a minute. Facebook or
vibrate.
Anyway, so we have all this amazing equipment where we can take our message. Look, you and I have had this whole time the chat. We can share with people. We can learn and talk about what drives us and how we can help people. And we didn't have to have commercial breaks. There's
no script.
There was no script.
Yeah.
Actually, I've been reading this the whole time. I'm not even Jess. This is just, I'm an actor who's hired to.
No, you are a true professional, sir. Wow.
That's how professional. Now I'll pull off my mask. No, I mean, when I worked in TV, it was like, after 3 minutes, we're like, oh, this was interesting, but we're out of time. We would love to know if North Korea is really a problem. But next up, a dog found a home.
Yeah.
It's like, what? So
that literally started frustrating you?
What's that?
Did that start frustrating you? Like,
yeah.
Because you'd been in for that long? Thank you for being honest about that, because this is why I don't have cable. When I left
cord too, it's gone.
In 2009, when I decided to start giving everything away, I was finishing my degree as an adult student, and then I decided I was going to go take this risk and do the fire thing to see if that was what I was meant to do. Right? I didn't know. I gave away everything, man. I had a 2,000 square foot townhouse at the time, and I had a used Audi, and I'm like, all right, I bought a $3,000 Subaru, like took all my athletic gear, my biking, my ski gear. I'm like, all right, that's what I'm allowed to keep. I literally crammed my life into 7 duffel bags, a road bike, a mountain bike, and my pair of skis, and it fit in that car. And that's what I went west with. So, and I've never owned a cable subscription since, because no offense to the industry, I know that some people love it and they depend on it, and you came from there, but I'm like, oh my God, like you guys are just pushing negativity most of the time for ratings. I want positive stuff. I want constructive stuff. I don't know.
It's all changing. You talked about how you're consuming books and podcasts,
yeah,
creating your own stuff. That's where everything is. I mean, everything has changed where my kids spend more time on YouTube than anything else.
YouTube University.
The Xbox and playing video games. But instead of TV, it's YouTube and it's various devices, not necessarily the TV. TV is maybe we're going to all sit down and watch a movie if we all got together at the same time. But we got rid of it. The media landscape is all different. I'm going to be delivering a speech in a few months on new, media marketing strategies. And the idea is, people say, I have a whole program on how to get publicity, but I say to a lot of people, depending on their situation, maybe you just want to be the media. Maybe you want to start your own show. Go build your own community and find your own audience. It's everything's different, and the disruption is already here. The fact that I was so much a part of that world and I don't miss my cable subscription at all. We weren't watching it. We have Amazon, Netflix, and Hulu.
I do have all that. She made that a requirement.
Yes. And you live with somebody else who says, gee, I like this one thing.
Yeah.
My wife said, gee, she said the only thing in the beginning was when the kids were getting off to school, she used to like to have headline news playing. But
nowadays, like we just ordered, her TV was like 8 years old and I didn't even own one. So she literally just ordered a brand new, nice, smart TV flat screen yesterday. So that'll be coming in a couple of days. And she wanted something bigger and I'll be thinner and lighter, blah, blah, blah. But like, to be fair, you can AirPlay off of an iPad live news now because all the news networks stream digital media, the weather updates, all of it. So,
right, or Facebook Live, or their live feeds on YouTube. Almost anything that you think of. Obviously, for people who are real big sports fans, probably
good point.
Subscription. I guess the two of us are okay with I also have one of those digital antennas. So if it's the Super Bowl or playoffs or some sort of a thing, I can tune in if I want. Or
is that the thing that picks up on the free HGTV feeds or whatever they call it? Yeah.
So for you got to figure out how far you are from wherever they transmit in your state, but and then make sure it's the right amount of miles. But then you get all the regular channels. And we only tune it in once in a while. And the rest is exactly what you just said. Most of it is going to be on demand or streamed. So even with clients who say I'm going to be on CNBC, either there's a live feed coming in that now I can record it on my computer, or it's instantly on the other feed. Mm-hmm. It hasn't been a problem at all. It's been great. More time for us to be in our lives and read books or help other people.
Well, it's like, for example, like I said, Henry and I did a live recording for his show. But for this one, I'm not doing live. I'm like, you know what? I just don't want to be on live right now. I do Facebook Live videos separately all the time. So I don't need to be live all the time.
It's live. Rebecca in Albuquerque. Fred, good to see you. Sorry, I want to...
No, I think that's powerful to share that because, again, this is a great topic you're bringing up right now. It goes back full circle to what you brought up earlier, which was people need to be getting out there more. Like if you are trying to eventually get more comfortable being in front of people, job interviews, dating, whatever, maybe you do a Facebook Live. Like freak yourself out. I don't know. You could always delete it, okay?
True. And you know what? Some people are better in text. All right. You can build a whole tribe just by having an amazing blog. I am better at talking incessantly.
I'm with you.
Which brings us to how you're going to get that book done. And people who are tuning in, take notice because you can do the same thing.
Oh, here's your takeaway lessons of today's episode.
Here's the lesson. Here's hopefully there are lots of good takeaways, but here's one.
We have plenty.
So Scott, all you need to do is figure out who the book is for, who might actually want it and how it helped them. Come up with an outline.
Hold on, I'm going to honor you here real quick. You're going on the dry erase board.
I do see my name on there, which is very cool. I made the whiteboard.
Oh, yeah, I do that before every show because you brought up lifestyle design a couple times in the show. And I'm like, that could be a theme for our keywords, for your episode title. So
all right. I like it. So what you do is come up with who you're going to serve. Then create the outline, table of contents, but you can also have what would happen within certain chapters. And then once you feel good about that, then speak it out. Take one chapter and either do it as, maybe let's say the book was called, Smoke Jumpers was the name of a fake movie on the TV show Entourage. So let's pretend it was called Smoke Jumpers.
Well, I was a hot shot, so that was a different crew. We didn't like people confusing us. Everybody thinks about whenever I say we were an elite firefighters, like, oh, were you one of those smoke jumpers that jumps out of the plane? I'm like, no, we hiked up the mountain.
Right.
So.
Like, no, we were the other guy.
Yeah.
So let's say it's called Hot Shots, which is confusing because there was a hockey movie with what's his name who was winning.
Well, I've already registered the title. So
you did? Okay, so let's say it was Hot Shot.
It's going to be So You Want to Be a Hot Shot.
Right.
So, yeah.
So you could record it as a potential future podcast and just record them, and then you're going to hand it off, and you're going to have it transcribed.
I already found a company that does that. You ever hear of Rev?
Rev is a great one, and you can also I've had people through Upwork who did it also, and I think they listen.
Is that priced any better?
What is that?
Is Upwork priced any better? I think Rev wasn't like $1 a minute or something like that.
That's probably why I used it. I probably the person gave a good price, and I was just I didn't do a whole lot of stuff that I put on there. Rev, it's like $1 a minute, and they turn around fast.
Okay.
So it's all good, depending how incessantly you talk. And so you talk out each chapter, then you have it transcribed. Now it's all your voice and all your sections. And then you hand it off to, you go back on Upwork and you get an editor who can, /writer, someone who can take what you put together and massage it and make it look right on paper. Then you show up at 98% and then you say, oh, I like this. I would probably just move this here, or now this part seems boring to me. And you just make those last tweaks. Boom, you practically have it all done.
You're probably the 5th person in the past 2 months to give me a different way of going about it, because I had one woman who actually told me that she's a ghostwriter, and she's like, wait a minute, you have 100, like actually Henry's show on my show, I'm airing him tomorrow morning. He goes live at 7 a.m. So, yes. But he's, anyway, the woman I had on, she's a ghostwriter and editor and all that, and she's like, Scott, she's like, you have, at that time I had like over 130 shows up. She's like, why don't you just rev those and then just pull out from the transcriptions everything related to fire or lifestyle stories from those years, whatever. Yeah. And she's like, you probably already have a book from that. So
easily. Yeah. And if you make little notes after these interviews, you can have future books too if you see themes coming up. But that's it.
The girl that I'll be airing in about a week or so, she mentioned, cause she's another editor and she's an author. And she's basically hinted at, she's like, Scott, she's like, you could just develop a series and with different themes as you're hinting. So I say, hey, right now we just got to get the ball in motion. So,
right. So community tuning in, let Scott know what he should do.
There you go.
Hashtag manbeard, whatever we said before.
Hashtag manbeard, hashtag, what was yours? Man pants? No. What was the manbeard variation on your end?
Yeah, dapper man pant, hashtag dapper man pant. Any of those hashtags would be acceptable. At Media Jess.
There it is.
And what are you over there?
I'm at Live the Fuel everywhere.
Live the Fuel everywhere.
That's it, man. That's easy. So, well, listen, on that point, we've been rapping now for, we're over the hour mark. Well done, sir. You broke the 60 barrier. So of recording time, we were talking before the show started. So
I want to bring up, I met a woman who told me that she spent a year with monks not talking for an entire year, yet for that Guinness record, I spent 24 hours trying to talk as much as I could. So
I think they're both equally impressive.
They're equally impressive.
But did she get a Guinness record for that? No.
No, she got nothing. She felt good inside. I said, I don't know if I can make it through the weekend not talking. We were at an event. I was back in my hotel room walking around alone, and I'm thinking of things and I'm like, because that's when people do that. I'm even talking to myself. Why am I? Is that how I want to leave everybody? No,
I don't know. I mean, I've thought about having conversations with myself. They go on in the head all the time. I haven't started verbalizing
most of it, and then just like a phrase comes out. That's what you think. Did I just verbalize that?
And as long as you're not walking down the street and you blurt it at somebody, and they're like, "Wait a minute, what just happened?"
Now I live in New York. That talking to ourselves in the street, it's the law.
Okay, that's a good point. That is New York City lifestyle. Or actually, everybody looks that way now because everybody's got the iPhone headphones. So everybody looks like they're talking to themselves. So
the earpods.
Yeah,
we got them in there. This was awesome. So everybody, if I wrap it up, yes, do something unexpected. Tell stories. Keep showing up. Give to give, and be memorable, which is by helping people, telling stories, making other people's lives even better, and that'll help you to be magnetic.
I love that. See, those are great final words, sir. I knew you'd be able to deliver. That's not a problem. So our listeners, and hang tight, I want to give you a proper goodbye off the air. But to our listeners, guys, one last time for the video feed, I'm going to share the other site that I didn't give you guys. His name, JessTodtfeld.com. That's his speaker site. This guy's got like all these brands, man. He's got a lot going on. He's hustling. So, but again, to our listeners, guys, a powerful, powerful episode. Please go check out the video feed. Go back to the website, livethefuel.com. Read up on him. I'm going to have all of this stuff, all of his sites, all of his, Twitters, Instagrams, everything will be hyperlinked in there so you can follow him, like him, stalk him if you have to. I'm not sure if he has a policy against that. So, real quick, do you? I don't know.
We're developing it right now.
Okay. So right now you're still embracing stalking.
Just a little bit.
All right. We like that. All right. Well, hang tight. I'll give a proper goodbye to our listeners. Ladies and gentlemen, that was JessTodtfeld.com. Again, multiple brands online. Follow him. Read up on the show notes because you need it. Make sure you check him out at successinmedia.com as well. So again, this is what we're all about, ladies and gentlemen. We're here to fire you up. Jess did that for us today. This is about balancing health, business, lifestyle, everything. So thank you for listening in. Thank you for subscribing. We'll talk to you guys again soon. And as I always say, keep living the fired up, epic life. Peace. And you are clear of the pod.
I did. I wouldn't normally, but I gave a peace sign. I was about to have a coughing fit because...
But see, this is real. It happens. Like I had a dog I was worried about. Yeah. I mean, I leave the video on because I like the video to be more raw and real because I think so many of us are building polished video content that sometimes, I don't know if you agree with this as a producer, but like, guys, you got to throw some real stuff in once in a while. Like we all cough.
It's all changing. Yeah, I was like, I hit the bottom of my water and I'm getting over a cold. And I was like, if I don't walk out of here right this second, because I was like, oh, bye. I was like, I was going to end with me just like.
You're going to lose it.
So I ran behind that door over there.
I've actually only had one coughing fit. That's why I stay hydrated now. Like I keep my stainless steel bottles of water everywhere now. So it's lessons learned being a podcast host.
That's how you learn. And I started with this much water, and then I ran out.
Yeah, I'd say about 6 months back, I started remembering, oh man, fill it and then have a standby, especially if it's just a really talkative episode, which you and I can easily have the gift of gab. Henry right there with it.
And I was trying to figure out earlier if you were standing when you were talking to Henry or if you're standing now. You are standing. That's very good.
Oh, yeah. I'm a standing desk man. So, yes.
I have a standing desk over there.
Nice. You do have multiple domains. So.
I do, and so I can also shoot. I usually have it. This is lower, so it actually goes up and down.
Oh, you have the adjustable one. Very nice.
Yes.
So again, to our video watchers, they get to learn about this stuff, guys. You can get stationary stand-up desks, power stand-up desks. I like that.
Yeah, and I didn't even realize because we just liked the desk, and then we said, oh, wait, it's got a thing there.
Now is that slim one that's closer to the wall? Oh, look at that.
A stepper.
Look at you.
I just got a stepper recently so that I
health and fitness balance. I like it. See, now,
Yes.
but before the standing desk, I used to have a big Swiss exercise ball, the big inflatable ball.
Yeah.
And I would just sit here and just bounce on it and be working.
I kind of like that.
It was fun, actually. And then I was like, wait a minute. I mean, when I travel a lot and drive a lot for business, it's like, wait a minute, I'm just sitting too much. And I go to a chiropractor every month, and she's like, Scott, you got to get more opportunity to open up your hips and improve your posture. So I was like, no problem. I'll just switch to a standing desk and be done with it. And now it was weird for the first week or two. Your feet might get a little sore if you're not standing a lot. But then after that, it was easy. So
it was easy.
Yeah. But you got both, man. You could sit, you could stand, you could step.
Yeah, there are some times where it's like, all right, I got to just sit and like get into something. And there are other times I'm talking to somebody on Skype, and now I'm walking. I only have it a few weeks.
Hey, I got guys that are, I think is it Ty Lopez or one of the other big viral guys online? They got the whole thing set up on the treadmill, and they'll do like the walking meetings.
That's great. It's like I'm almost to you.
Yeah, but actually, there's people who do that outdoors. I've done that in the nicer weather too. It's like I'll put the headphones in and I'll just take a conference call on a walk. I've done it in my local park where I mountain bike. I would take my coonhound and I take him out into the park, and I'm just hold a call there. And it's a different level of focus. It works.
I do a lot of work in Colorado, so I had an awesome.
I used to live there.
I was gonna say, and I just did work in Steamboat and Aspen, and the folks and it was off season. Unfortunately, it was right before the season started in September.
Yeah, but the strawberry Strawberry Hot Springs in Steamboat are great all time of year. So
both were beautiful. And but I did a meeting when I was on a mountain bike, and it was awesome. Every once in a while, I heard a little wind, but I was like, "I'm biking, and I'm talking to you." And they were like, "Cool."
Well, as you can tell, I'm a huge biking fan. So I used to race mountain bikes in Colorado when I was living out there. So
does it make you sad that there's all this snow that it slows down being out as much?
Yes and no, because I have friends of mine that I used to ride fat bikes out there. The tires are like this wide. And half my buddies now here in Pennsylvania, it's been spreading across the country. So they all bought them. And I have friends that were riding today. So they don't care. They'll ride anywhere. This time of year, you know, I do everything, man. I'll mountain bike, I ski. So I guess it just depends on what you want. If it's too cold, it's too cold, man. If it's too hot, it's too hot.
True. What's your main exercise thing? Do you go to the gym? What do you do?
CrossFit.
Okay.
Yeah, I found CrossFit thanks to firefighting in 2010. It was the fundamentals of our PT training, and then stayed hooked on it years later. And actually, I'm also a CFL1 certified CrossFit coach because I just wanted to understand it more. And I actually was coaching for about a year or two. And then I stepped away from recently because I'm busy growing the marketing agency and everything else. And I'm like, I have only so much time. And you reach a point where I love giving back and I love giving people tips. I love coaching and development because I was a coach in the corporate world. And then I was a USSA ski race coach for kids for 11 years. I've been a spinning instructor. I've been a CrossFit coach. So I've always had instruction. So you and I are vibing here in my life. And now I'm trying to transfer that into the just more business space.
Yes.
And then that all stays fun. So I can CrossFit year round. So
do you exercise early in the morning? Do you do it in the middle of the day, the night? When do you do it?
I actually prefer the mornings. I used to be a nighttime guy, but then I got into a lot of this new biohacking studies, and I've had a lot of biologists on the show for the health demographic. Yeah, and it's been really geeking out. Like I'm a bulletproof coffee guy from Dave Asprey, and like I do the butter in my coffee thing, and I do the refined coconut oils for brain health and all this stuff. I literally have swab tests sitting in the corner from Dr. Carson, who was on this show, and I'll be swabbing, boxing them up, shipping them to the lab that he uses, and then I'm going to go back on his show, and we're going to discuss his full analysis of my hormonal profiles that he'll be able to get from the lab off of my saliva. So, really, I'm not kidding you. Like tomorrow, I'll be spending an hour and a half with my chiropractor. She's doing a full workup. Yeah.
I think you should share your saliva with as many guests as possible.
I will.
I mean, mail it to them.
Yeah.
I mean,
just give it out
face to face. That'd be weird.
That could be something I could launch a store. I'm getting like, I I've already had stickers designed, and now I'm having some embroidered hats designed because I'm big into the trucker style hats. Because skiing and biking, we all wear hats once in a while. So I literally just left a guy today. We're having that designed. I was like, maybe I'll eventually sell them for the brand as it grows. I don't know. For now, I'll just give them to a couple people. But maybe I should be selling my saliva. I'm going the wrong way about it.
I think there's a market for it. I think that you should actually stop everything else that you're doing. You tell your fiance that you've reevaluated your entire life and saliva, and you're getting that ball back.
There we go. And that'll be my viral YouTube video. I'll be bouncing saying, "You need this saliva.
You need my saliva." Right. And then send it to her. I know I'm on the right track when I bring up certain things to my wife and she just says, "What? Like, what are you doing?"
See, if I do that now, if I walked out of here right now, she'd be like, "Who the hell were you talking to this time?"
Right. What was that about?
She already tells me, she's like, "Don't bring me up on your podcast. I feel like you're always talking about me." I'm like, "Well, you're a part of my life." I said, "You're going to come up once in a while. You brought up your wife a little bit." So,
and she doesn't like it either. And I did a podcast. There's a guy who has one called Business Over Bourbon.
Oh, I have heard of that one.
It's newer. Corey Perlman, and he loves business and he loves bourbon. And then we chatted before and we picked the same, bourbon because I said I like it to be more smooth or whatever. So we had
what's your choice?
I picked this one called the Duke.
Oh, I've not had that one.
It was like 100 proof. It was very smooth. It was really good.
Because bourbons are weird. I love my scotches and bourbon. It depends, right? Like you said, like I don't like things that are overly peaty and all that stuff.
Yes.
And yeah.
Well, what happened was I got a little. I mean, I drank a lot of it during our podcast during the hour that we had together. So, which was fun. It's part of the charm of that. I didn't embarrass it myself in any way, but bring back our significant others. My wife comes back from a run. She's got like a headband on.
She's all fit and happy, and you're drunk.
And she like peeks in, and she's like, "Are you still doing your thing?" And I know him outside of that, so she said, like, "Oh," I said, "Oh, come over here and say hello."
Yeah.
I'm like all boisterous, and she's kind of like, "Hey guys," and I'm like, "Come sit over here in the chair." And so it's up there, and she's like, "Oh God."
I will never get that from her. So
she's like, "Well, this is not airing, right? We're just chatting on Skype or Zoom." And like, "No, this is out there."
Yeah.
Be out next week.
She was pissed, wasn't she?
Yeah, and then I was like, and I'm pouring it for her. Have some.
No, literally, that's my fiance. Because she loves to run. She's also a CrossFitter too. We're huge skiers. We go out. Actually, I just booked the flights for Colorado.
Nice.
Her parents have a house in Edwards right next to Vail. We ski Vail every year, Beaver. So yeah, we're out there every year. So
that's exciting.
Yeah, actually, if you ever get bored, feel free to come out, man. We tell friends all the time.
I'm going to be there next week. Just myself with her parents.
Damn it, I'm jealous. Wait, with her parents?
No, I mean, I don't have a plan outside of, you said, come on out.
Yeah.
I'll just show up.
I tell people that. Like, hey, I was like, her parents have a 5-bedroom house in Edwards. I was like, we just, we'll go skiing. It's a thing, Don't worry about it. They love having guests. So
they do. All right. And that's very nice of them. Yeah. And one day, just give you a glimpse of the future, because this slowed stuff down with skiing. But I get the feeling the two of you will be good when children come along. Should children come along? No children. You're not going to do that. Okay, then you don't even have to worry.
I already took care of that.
You already took care of it? Okay.
And she paid for it.
Oh!
Yeah, that was done before we even got engaged.
So now you're like a friend of mine. It's not even, there you go. It's not even.
Dude, I coached like 50 kids at a time. I was like, I'm good. And everybody's like, oh, it's different when it's yours. And I looked at her and she's just like, no. I was like, we could be building businesses and traveling. And we say, you know what? It's okay to be selfish. We could be the cool aunts and uncles, right? Like,
and that's a buddy of mine. He met a woman who was like, I'm totally on the same page. Mm-hmm. And that's it. They got divorced 5 minutes later.
To tie it all together, that's how you know this is going to work. I said, listen, I'm not having a wedding. Like this wedding, I was like, you're lucky I even gave you a ring, right? I love to test my limits. And
Yeah, those are the limits.
she actually was not expecting to get the ring. I was trying to propose to her at the end of a skydive in New Jersey. And they grounded the freaking plane as we're all strapped up because of high winds. So I had this all planned. They had the ring. I was going to go up because we're not allowed to have anything in the pockets. I was going to get off. They're going to have me jump first. So that way I'm already on the ground. They'd sneak the ring out. And while everybody else, including her, are coming down, boom.
This is Delta.
Yes, Delta, yeah. So that was the whole game plan. And then they ground the freaking plane on the third load. And we're on the third load. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And I secretly have friends meeting at a winery down the street, about 7 minutes away and from the airfield. So I was like, shit, I guess I got to do it there. So adapt on the fly. And I had to have my friends like hide all the flowers that I had delivered to the winery and all this other crap because they were supposed to be like, hey, congratulations. So, I did it there. And then I said, listen, you're lucky you got that. So we're not doing this wedding thing. But I was like, it's got to be something fun, adventurous, memorable. And so we're both skiers, and she grew up in a skiing family. And she's like, she joked around. She's like, well, I think the only way I'll be able to get you to freaking get married is like do a heli skiing trip. And I was like, yes, that's exactly what I want to do. Yeah. So we are literally in discussions with this really nice place in Banff, Canada called the Fairmont. And with a helipad company up there, and we're going to go heli skiing for our wedding next winter.
Yay, that's awesome.
Yeah, so
why not do that?
You're going to spend that kind of money? Like, I mean, and that'll ensure a small wedding because most people won't come to that.
And you know what? There are always going to be people there. I was going to take a screen picture wherever there it is.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to send it to Henry. I'm going to probably talk to tomorrow. There are people who go and they don't want to be there. They feel like they need to be there. Stay home, people.
And then you got to make people dance, or they feel like they have to get drunk to dance. I mean, that's pretty much me. I need a few good scotches before that happens.
Right.
Yeah, or good bourbon, like you said.
Oh, that sounds pretty good.
You shoot this for Henry?
Yes. Where let's see if I can make it go. Here we go. Say, all right. All right. 1, 2, 3. Nice.
I've done that with other co-hosts. So, because like, oh man, I know that guy. I know that girl. I'm like, good. Let's do a selfie, and we'll do that, like a digital selfie.
Right. People are like, what? How did you guys?
It's a selfie on a selfie somehow.
I was going to Voxer him earlier and be like, what? You're on with Scott? I'm going to be on with him in an hour.
Well, like I said, so he'll air on my show tomorrow, and then I don't know when I'm airing on his. He says his editing happens really fast. I might be out as early as tomorrow on his show. I have no idea. Like his video was already live for his show, but yeah, it was fun. So that's important.
Well, it sounds awesome.
Yeah.
See, now I said the curtain's not shut because I was doing. I'll let you see some of this here.
No, that's cool, man. Oh, dude, is that?
So it's a whole.
Did you have that custom printed?
Yes. I had that years ago.
That's a legit photograph that you had printed, right?
It is, except there was one little mistake. There's an airplane.
Oh, wow.
There's an airplane right over there. And usually you don't see it from far away. And I can't pull it shut because the broken light is actually behind this.
Oh, you have you're not kidding, man. You got light boxes and everything there. So
light boxes have really beautiful, soft light.
Yeah.
There it is.
Okay.
And not as harsh light as the little rectangles.
Well, I purposely switched back to clear incandescent bulbs, at least for my lamp system here. But now that I've had my first experience with these soft light boxes, I'm considering those. So,
yeah,
you're kind of on and off about it. It seems so.
I don't like that it takes up room. I have to come over here to plug back in. It takes up a lot of room, the big lights. So I try to hide in that closet over there, but it's, I don't know. If I find one that's softer, maybe I could take the little squares and make a smaller version, get the soft box attachment for it. Maybe I'll do that.
From a phone, you mean? Or because they make those light rings now, right?
Yes.
I'm thinking those might be something to consider.
Actually, my 17-year-old has one.
Because I know for the iPhones, a really successful brand is called the Olo Clip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So Now, see, this is interesting. So your light boxes are using all those LED lights. The ones I bought, the ones I bought in my kit have the basic spiral screw-in bulbs in the light boxes.
Broke.
Oh, okay.
That's what broke. It was so it's all the spirals, and then I went to plug it in, and then the whole thing of the tripod came down, and I was like, okay.
So you're trying to see if you can create a light box feature off of that LED square setup you got.
Right. They probably make something like that because then it'll be nice and diffused.
Yeah.
So I have a bunch of these that are battery operated.
Ooh.
I found one where I can add a cord.
Nice.
And
it looks like a DC transformer, so you can plug it into the wall. Yeah, so it's a DC power because it's battery power, but you can add on an AC charger. Nice.
Because I've had it where you're part of the way through it and it just shuts off because the battery.
See, we're giving lighting lessons here. Like, this is great. So,
well, I don't know if we're still on.
We are actually. I haven't actually. I never shut the video off. So
okay,
I just let it go. Well, see, that's kind of where it's at. Like since the podcast is priority, the video is secondary. And then people get all this extra like bonus content. They're like, oh my God, that wasn't mentioned on the podcast. I was like, well, yeah, you got to hang out and watch the video. So that's what.
Always chop it up where you have it where it goes from, it looks like it's an hour, but then they get to watch the next one to see the bonus because then maybe mentally people. I know sometimes I see Tim Ferriss podcasts or things where it says,
oh God, his will go. Some of his podcasts go for hours.
Yeah, and I'm like, I can't. I don't think I can listen today.
No. Well, the beauty of podcasting is you can hit pause. So
that's true. That's true. And if you're traveling or you're in the car or something like that,
I downloaded probably 50 podcasts and like 5 extra books for last November's trip when we went to South Africa for 2 weeks because I'm going to load my iPhone up, and then I'll have plenty of stuff to listen to while traveling in South Africa. So that was it. So they're very long flying.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right, go back to your lovely bride-to-be.
And you go back to your lovely wife.
Touch.
Yeah. Well, so are you in Jersey too?
I'm on Long Island.
You're in Long Island. Oh.
Yes.
All right. Whereabouts?
Massapequa, home of Jerry Seinfeld, who when I don't have the almost full beard,
I could see it.
People tell me I look like him.
Okay. All right.
He looks like me.
Yeah. No, I'm out on the island a couple times a year. So my client is huge out there in the HVAC industry, and there's a huge company out there called SW Anderson, which is a big wholesale distribution company that all the contractors shop at. So like it's a big company. So they're all over Long Island. But,
wow. Well, yeah, let's definitely keep in touch and figure out if we're in the same spot.
Yeah. I told Henry the same thing. Like he wants to stay in touch. He's like, man, I love your vibe, man. We got to do stuff together. I said, absolutely. I was like, I'm literally only an hour and a half from New York City. So I said, I'm right now in town, Pennsylvania. It's a straight shot. It's not a big deal. I was like, you want to meet for lunch in Jersey or something? We can talk business, whatever. I'm game. I'm in Jersey at least a week out of the month every month. So.
And if the city is the middle ground, one day we'll all do a hangout together.
We should find a way to do like a meetup because I've got at least 5 other co-hosts that I've had on the past year that all live in the city.
Now you're talking.
Yeah, it's like you can
start a meetup, everybody, some cool hangout. You get to meet all those people face to face, and then everybody else interacts with each other.
Yeah, because I've only met 2 of them thanks to podcast conferences, and that's it. Like everybody else has just been, I've got connected through. I mean, because I'm a networking machine, like you know how it is. So
now there's some way to YouTube it. There's some way to properly record without everybody talking at once. I don't know. You can think about that.
Yeah, we'll have to brainstorm on that one. So
you get everybody.
Have to be a lot of lapel mics. Oh, listen. I respect your position, sir, because I picked up a brand new suit for last year and rocked. I don't do the magician thing, but I did rock. I now own pocket squares. I own 3 of them. I've never even owned a pocket square in my life. So
I never did before about a year ago. I realized it turns out I'm a pocket square guy.
You know, it's nice because I don't like to wear ties anymore. So you
got a little flair right there.
A modern cut suit, great dress shirt, boom. And all that flair is right in your pocket. So
it's right in your pocket.
Yeah. Well, what movie is that? Oh, you have your flare pins.
Yes, Jennifer Aniston. It was Office Space.
Boom.
Boom.
Classic. A movie to help drive my reason to leave the corporate world.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that and I was thinking I got to get out
Yep.
because it was a little bit like that.
It's
I
so
had people
true. That's a classic.
say, yeah. Instead of the TPS reports, there are people where I'd say, I have a really great idea or I have a thing that you need to know about. And they're like, no, I don't even need to hear it.
There's no creative freedom.
They're like, just do what I said. And I'm like, yeah, but I was going to tell you about this thing.
That's harsh.
Yeah. No, I don't even need to hear it. Just go do whatever we told you to do.
This is why I started building my own thing, right? Because
Me too.
We have strategy, we have creativity, and if you click with the right client and the right customer, it's like, oh my God, you want to give them like all your energy and all your power, and they're like, oh my God, I didn't know I can get that.
It's endless possibility.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, anyway, sir, you get back to your family. Are you on your stepper?
I purposely got on my stepper for you.
You've given us all of the experiences right at the end. We had the sitting desk, the other desk. Now you're at the standing desk.
No, maybe the power of editing. I know I didn't show you enough because I broke the light, so I didn't show you the on air.
I need one of those.
You like that?
Well, because I literally, when I first launched a show, because she accidentally walked in a couple of times, so I was like, I took a Post-it and I took a red marker and I wrote a heart saying, "Love you, but on air."
And there's also a door hanger one.
A buddy of mine has one of those. Does it light up though?
No, but this one works through walls. And one of my kids pointed out, they're like, "That's cool, but you do realize it's inside the room."
Yeah.
I said, "But it's for this very reason."
Right? See, that looks cool. Or if you can get two of them and put one on the outside of the door and they're synchronized or something, that'd be cool. So
I probably could, but I need a plug out there in the hallway, so I'll have to figure out how to do that.
I don't know. You're now going to make me. I'm going to go on Amazon after this, and I'm going to search for the door hanger on the air thing because I think that's something nice that I need to have now. It's been over a year.
It's great, and it was annoying for me to put it on the door hanger, so I have white Velcro, so I put it right up at eye level.
Oh, I like that. Okay,
you like that?
I'm liking that. And how much is this thing?
That was like $8. This one was like $30, and if you look at other ones, they're always like $100 or more.
Dude, I literally just spent $100 on a French press. So I mean, now granted, that's my coffee, and I take it seriously. But I take this podcast seriously and my audience seriously. So I think I can invest in a cool on the air sign. So
you can, and man, $30 it changes colors and it's got all different features.
Oh, I'm digging it, man. I'm liking it. I feel like my bike light's now boring thanks to that thing. Thank you.
I went and showed him up at the very end of his podcast.
It's okay. This is what we need. We gotta see things that's gonna help us level up. That's how I'm looking at it.
So level up. It's a new year.
That's it. So, well, hey man, we're definitely gonna be connecting in the future. Let's stay in touch, and then I'll be catching up with Henry. You catch up with Henry. We all have to get together. That would be if you just had a camera set up. Like I have a full travel kit for podcasting. Yeah. So I have 4 microphones, a whole setup. I mean, we could literally do a live. I've done this. I do live Facebooks or Facebook lives while recording live on site. So I travel with my gear if I had to an event or something. So.
We just figure out where to do it.
Yeah.
And hook it up.
Isn't that what Seinfeld's doing now? The whole coffee comedy thing? They do like live shoots out of his car. So
yeah, and he shot it and he sold it to Netflix now.
Okay. I mean, I'm not sure if we're going to sell it to Netflix right away, but I mean, we can talk media and marketing live from New York City. So
we'll have to get more females on who are, prettier than us. And
I do have one. She just moved from Germany to New York City and she's been on the show. She's cute. She's a millennial too. So we could tap into that audience.
There you go. That's right. See, figuring out some of the formula. They should have an area of Netflix for stuff like that.
Well, if podcasting keeps growing at the rate it is, I wouldn't surprise me. We all need to level up our YouTube content to become video worthy. So
right.
Yeah.
It's good. That's just a few, on-air signs and broken lights, and it's totally
one step at a time.
Backdrops.
One step at a time. Although now you're making me think I might want to get a stepper now. I like the whole. I could just be stepping. People are like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm always on the go, man. We're just
Now,
doing it.
I didn't really research it very much to figure out which is like the best one, because there are ones that are more like an elliptical, which would be pretty good. But I like that at least I'm moving. I don't know how great of a workout it is, but I feel like it's got to be better than me sitting.
Yeah, because you're moving and you're standing. So
I'm moving and I'm standing, and then sometimes
like standing desk is already better. You're already, because you're engaging your posterior chain, your alignment, your balance. You're making your body actually do things. Versus sitting is just you're just sitting.
Right.
So,
for hours and hours.
Yeah, that's it. So
it's no good. You look into it. It's pretty inexpensive. It was like $40.
All right, game on.
Game on.
On-air sign research this evening. It's going to happen.
Right. You got 10 other things you're buying from Amazon. As my wife said when the holidays ended, she said, I think we're going to like back it up a little with Amazon.
Yeah.
We're getting out of control.
Yeah. It can be. You really do need some self-control. So
yeah, because you're just like, I want this thing. And there it is.
Well, I'm just going to tell her, I'm like, hey, baby, I just bought the tickets for Vail for Colorado. So I need something for right now. That's not till February,
I need something to give me the dopamine rush right now. Right.
Exactly. So
you're like, all right. That's hysterical.
Anyway,
all right. I'm going to go eat or something.
I agree. It was great hanging, great connecting. And we'll have to think.
Let me know when I could share it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I blast. Trust me. I follow everybody. I send them an email. There's the links. Hey, your show's live, etc. On average, right now, the shows are about 2 weeks out. So if that just keeps in your queue in your head, and then obviously I'll notify you once it goes out. And then I tell people I try and get everything blasted across all the social media, but sometimes people beat me to the punch. If they beat me to the punch with the post, and they tag me, then I'll make sure I share their post instead of me doing my own. Because I tell people all the time, it's about cross-pollination. So I'll generate the posts if people are going to be lazy, but if they end up beating me to the punch, then I'll just share theirs. So, yeah.
Nice.
That's it. Sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring. And be kind.
That's it.
Which I have to stop saying that.
There it is.
Not anymore than millennials.
We're going to give to give, man.
Give to give. That's it.
That's it. Hey, actually, real quick, to close out on that subject, I literally just flipped my entire business this year into a for-purpose business model. Because I go an event out west. Actually, I think Henry knows about it. It's called Thrive, Make Money Matter.
Yes.
World-class speakers. And it's its third year this year. I was there during the week of the big shooting in Vegas. So it was crazy. But the whole point is teaching business and entrepreneurs, if you're going to be chasing the money, do it with an alignment for purpose. So, this will eventually grow and change. But for now, I said, I'm going to hard code it into my business. 1% of all income coming in is now going into a separate bank account that'll be set aside for donations or charity or whatever. And that's my new, so now I can say, hey, all my business going forward is a for-purpose business model. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was fun.
What charity or charities?
Well, right. I mean, that's the beauty of it. I can do whatever I want. I've been a big supporter of Make-A-Wish for a long time. My nutrition business is aligned with Make-A-Wish, so I like what they do. I'm already doing that with my nutrition biz, so I don't know. I'm basically going to pick a big flagship one for this year and then a local one. I always have at least one local one that I do every year. So, like I just got done this last quarter helping raise money locally here for cystic fibrosis. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah. So, I mean, my master plan is if I can generate enough income and enough for-purpose income, then I could pick a new local charity once a quarter and still have a flagship one. That'd be cool because then you're giving to the local community and you're still helping the big picture too. So
this totally beats the fact that a sizable percentage of my money goes to white supremacy groups. Should I not have brought that up publicly?
Oh my God. I mean, I'm going to lose it.
They're nice people. You take a little time to get to know them and you don't challenge them on any of their beliefs.
Sure.
They are happy people.
I would never expect that, but yeah. I guess if you're on the inner circle, super nice.
You have to be in the inner circle and give them donations. No, that's not part of my business. But and with shocking people.
Yeah. But anyway, on that positive note, I'm going to let you get back to your family and your awesome 12-year-old who likes to still play with dad. So
He does.
Yeah.
We were playing in the snow before, and then I ran in quickly to get the light together.
And hopefully he's not back out there again because it's probably cold. So.
And my hat off to anybody who stuck around to the very end.
Yes.
And heard last gems about giving to good places and not
giving to good places. Yes. Yes. Yeah. To the last people watching this video, again, it's jesstodtfeld.com. It's you got mediasecretsbook.com, and then you have successinmedia.com. So he's got 3 places for you to go and visit and hang out at. So
hang out, go over there, and reach out, say hello.
That's all we ask. Just reach out and say hi.
That's it. I actually really appreciate that when people do that.
Yeah, it is nice.
On there and such.
Yeah,
they'll figure it out.
All right. Well, we'll catch up again soon, and to say hi to Henry for me, and I'll be saying hi to him tomorrow when I post all this stuff. So yeah, you can listen on that show. That'll air tomorrow if you want to listen to it. So
can't wait to see it.
All right. Take it easy.
Have a good evening.
Take it there.
All right. Take it easy. Bye-bye.